block spinning, new ride and my girlfriends match the presidential inside. Ray-Bans on my eyes, weed and brews in charge. I don't know why they still be looking surprised. Add fuel to my fire, take it higher than they ever seen. My life a movie and I'm living out the best scenes. They call me cocky, in reality I'm confident. And every night we taking shots to our accomplishments. A lot of food, put it on my plate, and baby pressing out to tell her to wait. She see the signs of the times and the world is so boring. I'd rather pull out the old schools and new foreigns. Tell me what you want, I'll tell you what you need. Them other niggas stuck, Bruce took the lead. I'm teaching on them streets that I used to run, and afterwards chilling with my Aki on. What's up? Jake's claiming that they own, and they crew is legit. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Not at all. Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Straight game, money over fame. Put it in accounts, double the amount on some Oprah shit. On occasion we be toasting, and what I'm sipping now the same color as the ocean is. Ride slow with the beat up, sister got her feet up. Head wrap with a skirt on when we meet up. It's really a play, my vibe reading South Central LA. And yeah, we got it cracking from the streets to the bay. All praises to Yahweh when I kneel and I pray, knowing it's all good. I teach truth and spread light in the hood, doing exactly what we want, they only do what they could. Common sense is genius dressed in this working clothes. It's like I work and work more, y'all just working clothes. A lot of bad attitudes and some broken souls. The city of fallen angels, guess that's how it goes. Damn. Jake's claiming that they own, and they crew is legit. I bet. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. True Nation.
Shalom, Israel. Thank you for joining us this evening for our Bible basic class. I'm your teacher this evening, and my name is Shahada Math, and to my left.
Amatazah Yasharahla.
All right, and we're going to have the class tonight is going to be on proving. So the title is Prove Him or Her Before Marriage. This is it's a hot topic in Israel. You know, what from what we can see, it seems as though there isn't enough diligent proving before marriage. We all know that sex is marriage, right? So you know, hopefully this will edify some people who need to hear this will hear it, and be more diligent in their proving, and lead to more fruitful marriages in the nation that we are trying to build. So let's get into it. Let's go to 1 John 3:18.
All right, this is 1 John chapter 3, verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
So what we can see here is love is not just a word, right? But it's an action, in deed and in truth, right? So it's you know, oftentimes you get into you get to liking someone, they get to liking you, and you start, you know, going through the motions of proving, right? And you know, you catch feelings, and someone will tell him or her, confess, you know, I love you. But love is more than just a feeling, you know. It's the way that you show love is through your actions. It's through what you do. You know, this is what the Most High asked of us, right? He didn't say to tell him that we love him. He said to show him, right? And the way that we show that is by keeping the commandments, right? And the way that we show each other that we love each other is also by, doing what it says in the book. Treating each other, according to thus say the Most High. Um, so it's a whole lot more than just the words, right? Words are cheap. You got to show it in your actions. So you want to make sure that the person that you're proving, you want to make sure that you're showing them with your actions that you love them, and vice versa. If that's where it gets to it. Go ahead.
Also, is correction, rebuke.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you love someone, you want the best for them, and wanting the best for them is correcting them when they're wrong, so they can get it right, so they can be right. So they have the opportunity to get the kingdom. Go ahead and
Verse 19.
yeah.
And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him.
This is how we show that we are in this truth. We are living and walking this truth, and we are about this truth and doing what the Most High has commanded us. This is how we show love. Let's grab 2 John 1 and 5.
The book of 2 John, chapter 1 and verse 5. And now beseech thee, lady, not as though I have wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning.
This is from the beginning. This is this is as old as anything else that's in the Old Testament. This isn't something new. This isn't a new creation that's being brought forth, but this is as old as the law. Go ahead.
That we love one another.
That we love one another. Go ahead.
And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it.
So this is it. This is how you show love, is by walking in his commandments, right? By your actions, by what you do, by what you say, by how you carry yourself. That's how you show love. That's how you show that you love. It's a lot more than just saying it with words. It's you got to do it with your actions, with your whole self. Let's go to First Thessalonians 5 and 21.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And, that all you need?
Yeah, that's all I need. Yeah, so here it is. It's prove all things, right? So this is what you're doing when you're proving someone. You're proving that that you're compatible with them. You're proving that they are going to be a righteous mate for you. You're proving that they are going to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, that they're serious about this walk. You're proving that you're compatible emotionally. You're proving that they're going to be loyal to you and loyal to the Most High. This is a declarate. You are to prove all things, right? And this is how you go about proving that this person is fit to be your mate, and vice versa, right? And it's not just proving. Isn't just about proving the other person, right? It's also about proving yourself. You have to prove that you are worthy of their companion, right? You have to make sure that you are walking in the light, that you're doing the things thus say the Most High, right? You need to make sure that you've got your finances in order. You need to make sure that you've got your emotions in check and in control. You got to make sure that you are the kind of person that is ready to take on a relationship and fulfill the responsibilities that come with that relationship. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be able to identify your the things that you're good at and your flaws, and you have to be honest about that. And you have to diligently work to overcome those things. Let's grab Sirach 6 and 7.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
So another part of proving is taking your time, being diligent, really getting to know this person, experiencing them in all kinds of different lights. You want to know how this person handles the highs and the lows. You want to experience their highs and lows. You want to know, about their temperament. How are they when they're upset? Do they lash out? Do they are they patient? Are they kind? Even when they're hurt, even when they're upset, do there's all kinds of things that you need to learn about this person before you can be ready to, or you should be ready to, jump into a relationship with them. You want to know, their background, how they were raised. Did they come from, parenting that was loving, parenting that was tough but fair? Were they coddled? Was it an abusive? Were they abused as a child? Physically, mentally, emotionally. These are all things that you need to prove, because these things absolutely will play a role on who they are, and how they will be in the relationship, how they'll treat you. You want to be careful not to jump into a relationship with someone who hasn't done the work to better themselves. If you want to make sure that you're not getting into a relationship with someone who is emotionally stunted, right? Someone who doesn't know how to behave when the going gets rough, right? Someone who hasn't grown emotionally, hasn't grown to where they should be as an adult, right? They still act like a child when they get upset. They still want to lash out instead of being patient and really having a desire to solve whatever the issue is. This is not the kind of person that you want to be with. You don't want to be with someone who is childish. You don't want to be with someone who is immature. You want to be with someone who genuinely has a want and desire to find and resolve whatever issues that you have. You want to be with someone who wants to grow and wants you to grow, and is dedicated to doing that. So this is what you want to prove. These are the things that you want to prove with a potential mate. And you want to take your time to do this. You want to be diligent. You don't want to be hasty, right? You got to put your emotions aside, put that desire, that longing aside, and really take your time to get to know this person. Really take your time to understand how this person has acted, how their last or past relationships have gone. You want to know what their goals are. You want to know, how they see your lives coming together. If they want to have children, how many children you want to know what kind of parent they'll be. You want to know how they deal with crowds, with people. You want to know how they'll deal with your family. Are they in a congregation? What does the congregation think of them? That's important. What does their leadership think of them? You want to get some sort of understanding of how people who know them better than you perceive them and understand them to be. This is all part of the proving process, and these are things that you won't learn overnight. You won't learn in a week. You won't learn in a month. It takes time. It really takes time, and you have to be patient and really be diligent and do the due diligence to prove an individual. Grab Sirach 27 and 5. You there?
Sir.
All right, go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 27, verse 5. The furnace proveth the potter's vessels, so the trial of man is in his reasoning.
The furnace, like a furnace, what the furnace does with a pot is it heats it, it molds it, it hardens it, it strengthens it, right? And so in this same vein, you want to know that the person that you are proving, the person that you have a desire to build a life with, won't crack under fire. That you want to be assured that they are willing to and able to put in whatever it takes to get through the tough times. You don't want to be someone who you don't want to be with someone who is ready to tuck tail and run away at the first sign of trouble. No, you want to be with someone who is trying to endure through the end, because that's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to endure to the end. You gotta take the time. Like they say, pressure builds diamonds, right? So you want to know that when the pressure is applied, that this person isn't gonna crack, they're not gonna fold, but they're gonna endure. Grab Sirach 37 and 12.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
So it says, be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments, right? So it says man here, but obviously it's man or woman. You want to be sure that the person that you want to be with is keeping the commandments. That's the most important thing in your relationship, is being with someone who keeps the commandments that we're commanded to keep. Keep reading.
Whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
So you want to be sure that their thinking and their understanding and their reasoning is in accordance with the Most High, in accordance with the Bible, in accordance with how we are supposed to live our lives, right? It says, whose mind is according to thy mind, whose mind is according to the Most High's mind, who does what the Most High is asking, who will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry, right? Someone who will, when times get rough, they'll be there for you. They'll be your support. They'll be your guide. They'll be whatever it is that you need them to be. This is the kind of person that you want to build with and be with. You don't want to be with someone who is not going to be there for you, in your time of need. You don't want to be with someone who isn't going to support you when you're going through a difficult time, right? Someone who isn't concerned with what you're going with, but is only thinking about themselves, right? When you whatever the case might be, you might have a difficult day at work, or you might have a disagreement or an issue with a family member. You want someone who's going to be there to listen to you, to offer any guidance or support, someone who is genuinely interested in helping you heal and helping you be a better person, right? That's another part of proving. You want to prove that this person is going to be your support. And you want to prove, like Brother Matazah said, that someone is also going to correct you when you go astray, right? Because that's part of loving, is showing that correction, is making sure that you're correcting any wrongs, right, and making sure that you're doing things in accordance to the laws that we are to keep. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 13 and 5.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse 5. Examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh is in you, except ye be reprobates.
So it says examine yourself, right? And that's what I was talking about a little bit ago. This is when you're proving, you're not only proving your mate, but you're also proving that you are worthy, right? So you have to examine yourself. Am I doing everything that I need to be, thus saith the Most High? Am I going as hard as I can or should be? Am I doing this work? Am I doing the Most High's work? Am I putting Him first in my thoughts and actions? If not, what do I need to do to get there to do better? Am I building myself up with the mindset of what it takes to be a righteous husband or a righteous wife? Have I examined the book and made sure that the way that I'm moving is the way that we are held to move? Am I studying to show thyself approved, right? As a man, you are the head of the household, and you are the teacher of the household. So you need to be building yourself up to be a teacher. You need to be building yourself up to understand these laws, so that you can teach your household. You can teach your wife. You also need to be building yourself up so that you can be a provider, right? You need to be able to provide on all levels. Physically, mentally, you need to be able to support your wife and your household mentally. If children are in your future, then you need to make sure that you are building yourself up so that you can raise righteous children. You've got to be patient. You've got to be long-suffering. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. There are going to be times when your mate, where you have a differencing of opinion, right? They're convicted in what they feel. You're convicted in what you feel is right, and you have to build yourself up with wisdom and knowledge so that you can navigate that difficult situation, right? That is the thing. That is one of the things that's asked of you. So you need to, prove yourself that you're capable or on your way to being capable to do that. Go ahead and Sirach 37:27. You got it.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 37, verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it.
So you got to prove yourself again. You got to make sure that whatever your biggest temptation is, right, that you're able to overcome it. Go ahead.
For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything.
So, what you have to to be sure that whatever it is that is your weakness, that you are able to overcome it. Not everything is profitable for all men. You know, some men, some women, you know, that drink is something that they can't, you know, take in too much, because, you know, they tend to kind of lose their senses a little bit. For some people, it's gambling. You know, there isn't a law against gambling, but you know, at the same time, you got to be responsible. You got to be able to know when is enough. You know, you can't be out, you know, blowing your mortgage or blowing your car payment. You know, you have responsibilities as you know, a leader of your household, whether you're the head of the household or you're leading your children. You know, you have to be able to provide in your household the way that we are commanded to do. And so you've got to make sure that whatever it is that is your weakness, whatever it is that is your vice, that you are able to overcome that. You got to ask the Most High to give you the strength and give you the wisdom and knowledge to overcome those things. You know, and it's also good to have people who are in this walk that you can rely on for help and support and encouragement. You know, it's a good thing to be in a righteous camp. It's a good thing to have people to fellowship with, to have you know, relationships with, to be close with. It's a good thing to have people to hold you accountable and people also to guide you and carry you and lift you up. So you want to find out this person that you're proving. You know, who are they around? Who do they rely on? Who do they talk to? You know, who do they go to for advice? Who do they go to for eldership, for mentorship? You know, are they with a congregation? What's that congregation like? You know, do they hold each other accountable?
Yeah, I was thinking something that's kind of worldly, but it's the same thing. Is what we always tell people is when you meet someone, they definitely have a representative. You don't really get to know that person.
Absolutely.
You know, they put their, the first person that you meet is not really that genuine person.
Right. Yeah, people are always going to put their best face forward, right? So this is another reason why it's important to take your time. Take your time to prove this person, right? Because, you know, that first few, you know, weeks, months, whatever, you're going to get the best representation of who that person is, right? But that can only last so long, and you need to be able to work through that so you can see this person for who they truly are, right? They're in their good and their bad. Did you finish that?
I didn't even start Romans.
Oh, no. Yeah, go ahead. Romans 12:2.
Yeah, this is the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So it says, be not conformed to this world, right? We are holy. We are a holy people. We are the people that the Most High chose as his people, right? And so we aren't to be in pursuit of worldly things, but we're supposed to be in pursuit of holy things. Holy means set apart. We are a set apart people, so we are supposed to behave and carry ourselves in a set apart way. So we have to make sure that, you know, we're moving, thus said the Most High. You have to make sure that we are killing the old man, killing the person that we were in this world, and, you know, that we are constantly, every day, working on being a better representative of the Most High. We are constantly proving ourselves to that which is good and acceptable and perfect, that is the will of the Most High. So you want to make sure that you're doing that for yourself, and you want to make sure that the person that you're proving that is also something that they are diligently in pursuit of as well. Grab for me Galatians 6:4.
The book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 4. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another.
So again, it's another precept of proving, right? But not proving your mate, it's proving yourself, right? So you have to prove your own work, right? You have to prove that you are capable of doing what the Most High has asked of us. Grab Luke 6, and we'll start at 43, and we'll see how you go about displaying and proving your worth, right? We'll see what that takes. Go ahead, whenever you got it.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 43. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither does a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh.
So, in proving yourself and proving others, what you're looking for is that good fruit, right? Like it says, a good tree does not bring forth corrupt fruit, right? If it's a good tree, it's going to bear good fruit. If it's a corrupt tree, it's going to bear corrupt fruit. You know, this is similar to parenting, right? If you are a rotten parent, your children are going to be rotten, and everyone that encounters your children are going to see that they don't listen, they aren't respectful, they run their mouth, they aren't obedient, they are difficult to control, right? That is corrupt fruit, and that comes when you aren't a good parent. It's the same thing with relationships, right? If you are not putting good into a relationship, that relationship is not going to be good. If you are not putting good into your life, right? If you are not doing the things that you need to do to sustain yourself, to make your future fruitful and prosperous, it's not going to be. And people who know you are going to be able to see that. So that's why it's important to not only know the person that you want to be with, but to also, know who they're with, know who they run with, so you can find out the types of fruit that they bear, right? Do they hold an office in their congregation? What kind of employee are they? Are they diligent? Are they late all the time? They're irresponsible, taking, sick days all the time. Are they diligent? Can they be relied on? Are they trustworthy? These are all good fruits that you need to look for in proving someone and in being. It says a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. So a good man is going to produce good things, and an evil man is going to produce evil things, right? And so in proving someone, like we said earlier, they're going to put their best foot forward, right? But they're only going to be able to do that for so long before their true colors will start to show, right? So you need to be able to last and endure to see the true person for who they are, so that you can see what kind of fruits they bear. So you want to take time when you're proving. Grab for me. Let's go to Galatians 5, and we'll start at verse 18.
It's the book of Galatians, chapter 5, and verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murder, drunkenness, reveling, and such like.
These are the things that, these are the bad fruits. These are the things that you want to stay away from. You don't want to manifest these fleshly things, right? These are the fruits that are bared when you are not in the spirit, but you're in the flesh, thinking about, what you want to do, and not what the Most High has asked us to do. I'm not going to run through the whole list, but let's see what the good things are. Go ahead and keep reading.
And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
So you're not going to get the kingdom. You're going to die an everlasting death, right? But let's see what the fruits of the Spirit are. Go ahead.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering.
Long-suffering, that's a big one, right? You got to be patient, and you got to give people the grace and the mercy to get it right. You got to be patient with them as much as you would want them to be patient with you. Don't be quick to condemn someone. Don't be quick to do, I got you, you're wrong. Be patient. Be calm and gentle, as a matter of speaking, when dealing with someone. It's not chopping their head off and making them feel bad, but what you really want to do is help them show the error, the flaws in their way, and help them to want to get it right. Keep reading.
Peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
There is no law against these things, because these are the good fruits that you want to exhibit, and these are the good fruits that you want to be looking for in the person that you are proving. Go ahead.
And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affliction and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
This is love, right? Go ahead.
Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another.
No, so if we're going to live this life, we need to walk this life, right? It needs to look like we are righteous representatives of the Most High in everything that we do. We should be exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit. They're all there. So part of proving yourself is ensuring that the fruits that you are bearing are the fruits of the Spirit and not the fruits of the flesh, right? Let's go James 1 and 22.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
You need to be able to be honest with yourself, right? This is part of, again, proving yourself. You need to be able to say, you know what, I'm not as good as I should be when it comes to handling money. I need to get better. I need to, sit down and watch some tutorials, some classes on how to better manage money, how to be a better investor, all that, right? If that is something that you struggle with, you need to be able to be honest with yourself about it rather than, putting it off or lying to yourself or not thinking about it and just continuing to manage your money poorly, right? If being healthy is something that you struggle with, you need to be able to be honest with yourself and put in the work. Part of the first step to overcoming a problem is recognizing it, right? So if you keep telling yourself, nah, I'm not that bad, I can still get out there with the young kids and do everything that they do, knowing you can't, right? Knowing you can't ball like you used to, knowing you can't move like you used to. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest. It happens to all of us, right? We all age, we all slow down. Be honest with yourself, and if you desire to be able to move like you used to, you got to put in the work. You gotta make time to go to the gym. You gotta make sure that you're eating healthy, that you're not eating junk. You gotta make sure that you're getting your rest. You gotta make sure that you're taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your spirit, right? You gotta be in this book.
You got to be a doer, not just you can't just look at the weights or look at whatever and it just come together. You got to put your hand. You got to get with it.
Right. You're not gonna get into better shape by osmosis. You got to actually do the work. Grab. Yeah, grab for me, Cyrac. Let's do 20 and 29. So you want to make sure that you're not deceiving yourself. You also want to make sure that you're not deceiving others, and you want to make sure that you're not being deceived, right? That's why it's important to be diligent in your proving. Go ahead.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 29. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove.
So earlier we talked about loving is being able to correct, right? When someone desires someone else, they put their best foot forward. They go above and beyond to ensure that the emotion that they're eliciting is feel goods, right? Gifts, presents, whether that be actually physical things, jewelry, clothes, whatever, or spending time with each other, saying those whispering those nice things, right? These are all things that happen in the beginning stages of courting, right? You get the best side of people. People are more willing to do things to make the person that they're courting feel good, right? Don't be deceived. It says presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, right? So you want to make sure that you're being wise and not being blinded by gifts, not being blinded by the showering of presence, whether it be that physical presence or whether it be actual gifts that you're being given. You want to make sure that that you're seeing through any deceit that might be, and you're actually seeing this person for who they are, whether or not they're being genuine, right? Let's go Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad,
Read.
and a gift destroyeth the heart.
It says a gift destroyed a heart, right? So be careful when it comes to these gifts. You want to make sure that you're lasting through the feel-good feelings and really getting to know this person that you're intending to spend the rest of your life with. You know, you want to make sure that that you're being diligent in your proving. You don't want to be deceived. You don't want to be tricked into being with someone who doesn't have your best intentions in mind, being with someone who isn't going to be loyal to you, who isn't going to endure with you. Let's grab Sirach 13 and 5.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it.
I know you've seen or heard those relationships, especially in the world, where a man he says and does all the things he needs to do. He's doing just enough to get this woman to take care of him, basically. You know, she's providing for him. She's, giving him money, taking him on trips, paying for stuff, deceiving him, right? And the same way with the women, right? You see, what do they call, gold diggers, who, they make the man feel good, say all kind of sweet things, dress up for him, do everything that they can so that this man will provide for them monetarily, right? So that this man will support them, pay their car note, pay their rent. Don't be deceived. Don't get caught up in a situation where you're being taken advantage of. You need to be diligent in proving, because once you lay with this person, that's it. You're with them, whether you like it or not, whether they are who they presented themselves to be or they deceived you. You no longer have a choice. You are wed to them. You are married. This is your spouse. You got to deal with that. Keep reading.
If ye have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope.
We've seen this, right? We've seen that wicked man or that wicked woman who is just making their mate's life miserable, right? They're doing just barely enough to get by, but not being a provider, not being a supporter, they're just being a terrible person. And it's really sad to see, because it seems like they don't care. They're just living their best life, having a good time, taking advantage, right? You don't want to be in this situation. You don't want to be this person. You don't want to be with this person, right? So you need to make sure that you're being diligent. Keep reading.
He will speak thee fair and say what wantest thou, and he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice and thrice.
They are going to be diligent in getting everything that they can from you before moving on, right? They're going to try you in every way that they can. You wanna make sure that you're not susceptible to these kind of being taken advantage of, right? You got to be diligent, right? Don't get too attached before you know this person, before you know their spirit, before you know what they're about, right? Because once they got a hold, they're going to drain you and drain you again. They're going to take advantage of you in any way that they can, right? These people are out there. And a lot of them are really good at masking who they really are, right? That's why proving is so important. Keep reading.
And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. Afterwards, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, and shake his head at thee. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in the jollity.
Right, jollity. That's lively and cheerful activity or celebration, right? So you don't want this person to put your light out. You don't want to be with someone who dims your joy, who brings you nothing but grief and sorrow. So be very careful in your approving. Grab Sirach 27:3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown.
So you got to be diligent. If you're a man, you got to be diligent. Or you're going to open yourself up to wickedness. You're going to open yourself up to your house being overthrown, right? If you're not diligent in your proving, you're going to open yourself up to a woman who is just trying to take advantage of you and is solely concerned with what she can gain from you, right? And has no motivation to be your help, to be your peace. All she cares about is what she wants. All she cares about is having fun and feeling good, right? And however she can get that from you, she will, right? So you need to diligently do what this Bible says. You need to diligently do what is commanded of you. Same wise for you women, right? You need to be diligent in building yourself up and making sure that you are doing what you need to do. You need to make sure that you are exhibiting the fruits of the spirits, right? So that you're not taken advantage of, and so that your house or your peace, your selfness isn't overthrown, right? So you aren't destroyed emotionally and spiritually. Let's go to Sirach 25:13.
17 or 13?
13. We're going to start at 13 and then skip to 17.
Okay. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, 25:13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman.
So here the plague of the heart, right, or heartbreak is being compared to the wickedness of a woman, right? Because when you are with a wicked woman, it is like a plague to your heart. You're heartbroken. You're destroyed emotionally and spiritually, right? It's not a fun thing. It's an awful thing to go through to be with a wicked woman. So you want to make sure that you're not opening yourself up to that. You want to make sure that you're being diligent in proving, right? Let's go to 17.
And 17, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth, it shall sigh bitterly.
So, when kicking it with the homies, right? Just trying to have a good time, enjoy yourself, enjoy your company, and here comes that wicked wife, right? Loud, prideful, and everyone sees it and knows it, and it's not a good thing to be in that situation. It's not a good thing to it's not a good thing to witness, right? When he sees or hears his wife's coming, right? It's not a joy. It's not pleasurable. It's not something that he's excited for or even wanting, right? He drops his head and kind of sighs, and he's like, "Here we go. What's it gonna be now, right? You know, that's something that you want to avoid, right? You don't want to be that wife, and you don't want to be that husband, right? So another reason why it's important to prove, right? Keep reading.
All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman.
All wickedness is little to the wickedness of a woman, right? Uh, it's it's really awful being with a wicked woman, right? Women think and move emotionally, and to a degree that men don't even have the ability to, right? A woman can hurt you like no man can hurt you, right? You can be betrayed by a man, right? And yeah, that's awful, right? Um, but it nothing can compare to the hurt that a woman can cause you, right? This is the person that is supposed to be your peace, right? You don't go to your brothers for peace. You know, you're supposed to have that in your mate, in your wife, in your household. She's supposed to be your peace. She's supposed to be your rest. Um, so when you don't have that, when she is not that, it's there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than that. Keep reading.
Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man.
As the climbing up of a sandy way. You ever gone to the dunes, gone to the beach, and tried to climb up the dunes?
Man, that's
Um,
crazy.
it's not easy, right? It's first of all, it's not easy just walking in sand. Period. You know, when it's level, much less trying to walk up a dune, a hill that's sandy. It's difficult.
And your age.
And on top of that, your age, you're old, you're already more wore down with life and brittle and weaker than you were in your younger years.
Man, you're a quiet man. And you got a wife that's just running off at the mouth. Just
That
man,
is so
man,
much worse
man.
than having to climb in your age with your age feet and your age bones and your age muscles, like having a woman who just keeps running her mouth and saying what she wants to say and isn't respectful, isn't exhibiting these fruits of the spirit. That is it's terrible. Like it's a terrible thing to have to deal with. So you want to make sure that you're not being that woman, and you want to make sure that you're not attracting that woman, right? And you want to make sure that you aren't turning a good woman into that woman, right? That's the other part of it. As men, we also play a role in how our wives behave, right? We don't want to be a man who is unwavering and um, who is not able to provide for their wife emotionally, spiritually, financially, right? We need to be able to provide. We need to be able to give them what it is that they need to be able to fulfill their role as your peace and your wife, right? So you got to make sure that you are also exhibiting the fruits of the spirit. So you got to make sure that you are being patient and long suffering, right? You got to make sure that you are communicating effectively and efficiently and in a way that is received by your wife, right? If she's one of these women who words don't hurt easily, you know, make sure you're speaking to her effectively. If she's the type of woman who she's very sensitive to not only what you're saying but how you're saying it. I feel like this is most women. Then you have to make sure that you communicate your point in a way that she will receive it and not just not hear it, but focus on the way that you're expressing yourself to her. You have to be calm. You have to be clear, and you have to just be effective in your communication. You can't be a roaring lion all the time, because that's not easy for a woman to receive, especially on a regular basis, right? So you want to make sure that you are also doing your part to provide an environment that is peaceful for your wife, right? Because you definitely don't want to turn her into a wicked woman. You absolutely play a responsibility in that. Let's keep reading.
Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
So it says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman, right? And desire her not for pleasure, right? So our women are beautiful. Our women are the most attractive women on the planet, bar none, right? But that isn't enough. If you need to be able to, physical attraction is absolutely important, right? You're attracted to who you're attracted to, but you can't let that be it. You have to, work beyond that physical attraction and make sure that there's a mental, emotional, and a spiritual attraction there as well, right? And compatibility and all those things, right? It can't just be about physicality. It can't be, that she's built the way that you like a woman to be built, right? It can't be that she's just beautiful, right, and nothing else matters. There has to be substance there. There has to be, she has to exhibit all the fruits of the Spirit. It can't just be her physicality, right? It can't just be her physical beauty. So don't get hung up just on that, right? Because that can lead to disaster. That can lead to a terrible situation where you're with someone who you're not compatible with. You're with someone who you just decided to get with them because they're attractive. There has to be more than that. Keep reading. Let's real quick read 22 again.
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
This is a false balance, right? Grab for me 1 Timothy 5 and 8 real quick. This is a false balance, right? It shouldn't be a situation where the woman is maintaining the man in the household, right? The man is the head of the household, and being the head, he needs to provide for the household. As the head of the household, he needs to be a provider financially, and that doesn't mean that he needs to make more than his wife, right? That doesn't mean that he needs to be the one who's bringing in the most money into the household, right? But he certainly needs to be the one who ensures that financially the household is functioning optimally, right? He can't be spending more money than he's taking in. He can't be blowing the grocery money so that his wife's not able to buy the groceries to cook for the household. So he has to be able to provide financially. He has to be able to provide spiritually, right? He has to be the teacher of this word. He has to make sure that his household is running thus saith the Most High. That he has to make sure that his household is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. If he's not doing those things, then he is going to he's going to make his wife angry. She's going to be upset that he's not fulfilling his duty as the man, right? Read that for me.
It's the book of 1 Timothy 5 and 8. But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
He is worse than an infidel, right? So if any man is not providing for his household, the scriptures say he is worse than an infidel. This is contrary to how men in this walk are supposed to carry themselves and deal with themselves, right? You are supposed to be the keeper of your household. You're supposed to be the provider for your household, for your wife. You don't want to enrage your wife because you're not fulfilling your role as a man. Because very quickly, she will turn sour and she will lose respect for you, and she will start to treat you a certain kind of way, and it's going to lead to the destruction of your household, right? And you don't want that. Let's go back to Sirach 25 and 23.
23, and a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees.
So when you're with a woman who, when you're going through things, she's not there for you, but piles on, when she is not a comfort or a peace, a confidant, the scriptures say that makes weak hands and feeble knees, right? It breaks down a man. It zaps him of the strength that he needs to be what it is that he needs, that he needs to be, right? If a wife isn't someone that her husband can confide in, can talk to for guidance, for support when he's going through things, if she's not the type of woman who is there for him, who is willing to lend an ear and actually listen and care, that's going to break that man down, and he's not going to be in a place mentally, physically, or emotionally to fulfill his roles, his duties as a man. So when you're proving, it's important to make sure that the person you are proving is capable of supporting you in your low times, is capable of lifting you up, and capable of being loyal and backing you, and feeding life back into you so that you are able to fulfill the duties that you need to. Go ahead and let's get that last scripture.
26, if she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go.
Read 24 for me.
Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
So this is referencing Eve, right? Eve was the first person to sin, right? She ate of the forbidden fruit, and the Most High cursed women because of this, because they are the daughters of Eve, right? And so that's why it is important that as men, we be the leaders of the house. We be the kings of the household. We be the rulers, right? Because that is what has been entrusted onto us, right? We are the more rational. We are the more logical. We are the being that is more capable of leading, right? We are stronger. We are more physically dominant. So that is why we are the leaders, right? So we need to fulfill our role as leaders of the household, leaders of the congregation. We need to make sure that we are studying. We are learning and following these commandments so that we can lead our households and we can lead our communities, and we can get this kingdom, because that's the goal, right, is to get the kingdom. Grab for me Proverbs 31 and 30.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, right? We covered that earlier, right? But a woman that feareth the Most High, she shall be praised, right? So you want to make sure that the woman or the woman that you are is a woman that fears the Lord, so that you can be praised, right? You want to make sure that the woman, as a man, the woman that you are proving is a woman that feareth the Lord, right? Let's skip that. Sirach 26, and let's start at 1.
26 and 1?
Yeah.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that has a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled.
When a man's wife is exhibiting the fruits of his spirit, right? When she is supporting him when he needs, when she is tending to the household like she needs to, when she is a pillar of rest and comfort for her husband, that is a blessing, right? And that is going to extend a man's life, right? It's the opposite of stress, right? Stress, we know, takes years off your life, right? So as a woman, you wanna be your man's peace, not his stress, right? You want to do everything that you can to give him as many years on his life as he can. You should want to for him to be alive as long as possible, right? So you want to be his peace and not his stress. Keep reading.
A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
In peace, right? A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband. So if she is joyful to be with her husband, joyful to be around him, joyful that he is her wife, her husband, then she's going to be a blessing to him. She's going to be a peace in his life, and he's going to live longer, right? It's right there. Let's drop down to 13.
The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones.
When a woman is discreet in the way that she moves, when she's not loud, when she's not in people's businesses, when she is moving with grace and discretion and discernment, these are all things that are pleasing to a husband, right? These are things that are pleasing to a community. This is a fantastic example for women, right? So be this woman if you're a woman, and be with this woman if you're a man, right? This is what you should be looking for when proving, right? Because this is the type of woman that you want to be, and this is the type of woman that you want to be with if you're a man. Go ahead and keep reading.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
A gift of the Lord, right? We saw earlier how a woman who I don't want to misspeak. A woman who basically doesn't know when to keep her mouth closed and just runs her mouth. She is a terror to her husband, right? So, make sure that you are a delight if you're a wife, right? Make sure that you are being that peace Keep reading. Because that's a gift. Keep reading.
And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
When you are able to take correction and direction and instruction as a woman from your husband, that's one of the greatest things, right? So you want to make sure, if you're a woman, that the man that you're approving is someone who you are going to be able to take direction from and correction from and instruction from. You want to make sure that this is a man that, as the scriptures say, is keeping the commandments, right? That you know that he is a man that keeps the commandments, right? Because that's the type of man that you want to follow. And as a man, that's the type of man that you want to be. Keep reading.
A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace.
Double grace. Read.
And her continent mind cannot be valued.
It's unvaluable, right? It's invaluable. It's something that you can't put a price on.
Priceless.
It's priceless. Let's drop down to 26.
Okay. A woman that honoreth her husband and shall be judged wise of all.
A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, right? So if you should want to be a wise woman, right? And one of the ways to be a wise woman is to honor your husband, right? So you can't be, you should not be, talking some kind of way about your husband to your sisters, right? You shouldn't be, saying things about him that shouldn't be in the household, right? If you have an issue, go to him, right? But you absolutely should not be talking bad about your man, right? Because that is just a poor reflection of you, and it's a poor reflection of your relationship, right? And your sisters are not going to look at you as wise. Make sure that you're being discreet. Make sure that you're speaking with wisdom every time you open your mouth, and make sure that you're lifting your man up when you are talking about him. And same for the men, right? Make sure that you're building your wife up so that you are not having or tempted to talk down about her when she's not around. Keep reading.
But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
It's an ungodly thing. Go ahead.
A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin.
That's all I needed.
Okay.
Grab Titus 2:1. We're going to start at 1 and read the 5. So you want to make sure you want to prove that this potential woman, if you're a man, is someone who is going to honor you, someone who is not going to be running her mouth, talking slick, saying crazy stuff behind your back, making you look like a fool and making herself look like a fool. You want to be with someone who is discreet, and you want to be discreet yourself. Proving is important. There is a lot of diligence that should go into it. There's a lot of thought and time that should go into ensuring that the person who you want to spend the rest of your life with is someone who you're going to be able to spend the rest of your life with in righteousness. It's not something that is quick. It's not something that's easy. It's something that should take some time to get through. Go ahead when you're ready.
The book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 1. But speak thou things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience.
This is as a woman, this is the type of man that you want. You want a man who's going to be sober, not taken to drinking, into insobriety. That's going to be grave. That's going to be temperate, sound in faith. You know, he studies. He's shown himself approved. Who's charitable, and who's patient. Right. Go ahead.
The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
This is the type of woman as a man that you wanna build with, right? This is the type of woman that this is what you should see in the future of the woman that you're proving, right? This is what you want her to become. Go ahead.
That they may teach the young woman to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
Because at the end of the day, we are representatives of the Most High, right? And so we need to ensure that we're living our lives in a way that does not blaspheme the Most High's word, right? So as a young woman, the fruits of the spirits that you should be exhibiting is being sober, right? Having the ability to be loving to your husbands, loving to your children, showing that through actions, right? To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. You shouldn't be out running the streets, not taking care of the household, right? To be obedient to their husbands, right? You shouldn't be, wanting to do your own thing and not listening to your husband if he's not, telling you to break these laws, statutes, and commandments. These are the things that you do as not to blaspheme the Most High. Let's go to Proverbs 31:1, whenever you're ready.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
So this is something that his mother spoke to him, right? This is what his mother taught him. Go ahead.
What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
So she said, give not thy strength unto a woman, right? And I know that we've heard this before, right? But let's get the simple understanding to what's being communicated here, right? I've heard in the past people say that you don't, as a man, you don't want to be a simp, right? You don't want to be someone who just lets your woman walk all over you. That's not righteousness. But the strength here that it's talking about, let's get some understanding behind that. When you've got it, read for me Joshua 14:10, right? It says, give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways which destroyeth kings, right? So it's implying that if you give yourself to a woman in a certain way, she has the power or the ability to destroy you, right? So let's make sure that we have a clear understanding of that. Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
What's up? This is the book of Joshua, chapter 14 and verse 10. And now, behold, the Lord hath kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, even since the Lord spake this word unto Moses, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. As yet I am as strong as this day, as I was in the day that Moses sent me.
So what he's saying here is that he is as strong today as he was when Moses sent him, right? And the strength here is tied to the strength that was being communicated to the mule. Go ahead and keep reading so we can get that understanding.
For let's see. As my strength was then, even is my strength now for war, both to go out and to come in.
For war, right? So the strength that we need as men is for war. This is the strength that's being communicated, right? We are behind. We're in war right now. We're behind enemy lies. We're in Babylon. And as men, the thing that we are commanded to do, right, is build this nation, right? That is our primary goal. And in order to do that, we have to have the strength to endure, right? We have to have the strength to study. We have to have the strength to get this truth out and get this word out and build ourselves up and build our communities up and build our congregations up, build our families up, right? We can't have this strength if we're warring in our households with our wives, right? This is the strength that's being communicated here, right? It says, give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways that which destroyeth kings, right? As a king, you are a leader. And if you are not using your strength to be that leader of your kingdom, then you can't be an effective king, right? And what's going to happen is your kingdom is going to crumble, right? Just like we read earlier. If you are not building up your household, if you are not being the man of your house is going to crumble, right? So you have to make sure that you are building up your household in a way in which your strength is being used efficiently, right? So as a wife, you got to be that piece. You have to be that helpmate, right? You want to make sure that you're not weakening your husband, right? Because he has a role, right? His role is to lead the house. His role is to lead the church, the community, the congregation. His role is to build the nation, right? And in order to do that, he needs your help. What he doesn't need is a headache. What he doesn't need is to war with you. These are all things that take his strength away, that zap his strength, and that leave him depleted to where he can't fulfill his duties and obligations that the Most High has impressed on us, right? So this is the strength that's being talked about here. Men, when you're proving a woman, a future wife, you have to be diligent in making sure that she understands that you have a duty not only to be the leader of your house, but the leader of your community, the leader of your congregation. She has to understand that the most important thing is to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, because we're trying to build a kingdom, right? So she can't be battling with you, and you can't be moving in a way that elicits that battle from her, right? It works hand in hand. Read for me 1 Corinthians 7:29, right? So you can't be geared up for this battle and have the strength for this battle if you're battling in your household. So do the diligence of proving before you get married, right? So that you're not in this situation.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7 and verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both I that have wives be as though they had none.
So what it's saying here is time is short. We know that the things that are prophesied in this book, we're seeing them happen right now, right? We definitely know that our time is done here, and and we have to do the things that we have been commanded to do in order to get this kingdom, right? We definitely don't have as much time now as they did back then, and we know that because we see the things that are being prophesied, right? We see death and destruction, we see plagues, we see natural disasters, we see all of these things, right? So we got to get it right. The time is short, right? So what it's saying is that it's important for husbands to move as though they had no wives, right? And what that's communicating is that a husband should have the ability to do this work of building this kingdom, right? He shouldn't be hampered by having to, by warring with his wife, right? By having to deal with her ineptitudes or her shortcomings, right? He shouldn't have to worry about keeping the house up or taking care of the kids, right? He has a wife as a helpmate so that he is able to do what he needs to do to build up this kingdom, right? That's what's being communicated. Yeah, we can skip all that. Grab Tobit 8 and 4 whenever you're ready.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 8, verse 4. And after that, they were both shut in together. Tobias rose out of the bed and said, Sister, arise, and let us pray that God would have pity on us. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O God of our fathers. Blessed is thy holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens bless thee and all thy creatures. Thou madest Adam and gave him Eve, his wife, for an helper and stay.
The helper and a stay, right? Read.
Of them came mankind. Thou hast said, It is not good that man should be alone. Let us make unto him an aid like unto himself.
So the wife was created to be an aid unto the husband, right? That's what's being communicated in the precept above, right? So women, this is the thing, right? If you're not ready to be a servant to your husband, you're not ready to get married, right? If you see the man that you are proving as someone who is going to make your life easier, right? As someone who is going to get you to that place that you desire to be financially, is going to cure your loneliness, is going to make you feel good all the time, right? If you're concerned about the things that you're potentially getting out of a marriage, and not thinking about the things that you're giving to make a successful marriage, then you're not ready to get married. You're not ready to be a wife yet. You have some more work to do, right? Because per the scriptures, you are to be a helpmate and an aid unto your husband, right? So that's what it needs to be. Grab 1 Peter 3 and run.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
So, again here, wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, right? So even if your husband is going off and he is doing contrary to this, say the Most High, contrary to these laws, statutes, and commandments, by you being virtuous, by you being righteous, by you being in subjection, through wisdom, you'll be able to through wisdom, which includes, praying and trusting the Most High and asking for his help, bring your husband back into to doing thus saying the Most High, right? Read.
While they behold your chess conversations coupled with fear.
So what they're seeing in you is your faith, your fear of the Most High, and you keeping these commandments, right? Read.
Whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plating the hair, of wearing of gold, or putting on off apparel.
It's not because of you know the makeup that you're putting on, or the hairstyle, the way that you're doing your hair, or the nice clothes that you're wearing, but it's actually about your works, right? It's actually about who you are and what it is that you do. Read.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
A meek and quiet spirit, right? So you don't want to be warring with your husband, even if he's going off, right? You have to use wisdom, and you still have to be in subjection to him, and hopefully through the person that you are, the representative of the Most High, right? You are able to turn him back to the light, turn him back to keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Which is in the sight of the Most High of great price.
Right.
For after this manner in the old time, the holy woman also trusted in the Most High, adored themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Because this is how our foremothers did it, right? Read.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughter ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Likewise, husbands also have a role to play, right? We need to be able to dwell with our wives according to knowledge, right? Giving honor unto the wife, right? She is the weaker vessel, right? She moves more emotionally where we move logically and reasonably, right? So we need to recognize that, and we need to be able to communicate physically, mentally, emotionally in a way that it's not natural for us, right? But through wisdom, we and through following these laws, statutes, and commandments, we should be able to communicate in a way that is effective, in a way that our wives are able to receive the message and not just hear the way that the message is coming across, right? Grab Genesis 24 and 15, because tonight I've been talking a lot about how men and women proving each other should deal with each other, right? But it's also important for women to understand how to deal with the men of Israel who are doing this work, right? Go ahead.
This is Genesis 24 and 15. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the son of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon.
She was attractive. Read.
A virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up.
Really quick, that virgin, right? It says virgin, neither any man had known her, right? Meaning that she hadn't slept with anyone, right? So I just want to point out that virgin there doesn't mean someone who hasn't had, a woman who hasn't had sex, right? A virgin is just a young woman who is of marriage age, but is not married, is not betrothed, right? Read. 17. Yeah.
And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she drank. My lord, she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for the camels also until they have done drinking.
So this was 15, right? Right. So this was Isaac's servant, right? And he was sent out to find Abraham sent him out to find a wife for Isaac, right? And so the servant seeing Rebecca, asked her, could I have some water, right? And right away, she said, "Drink, my lord." She didn't know this man. She didn't know what he was about. She didn't know anything about him, right? But I imagine that they were living these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? They were Israelites living together, right? So they had an understanding that they were keeping these laws, right? So the way that she dealt with him was respectful. It was virtuous. It was righteous, right? She immediately, offered him water. "Drink, my lord." And she let down her. She hasted, which means she didn't go anywhere. She put down her pitcher and gave him to drink. But not only that, she offered and got water for the camels as well until they were done drinking. It says she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well to draw more water. So she made multiple trips to the well to get water for his camels, right? She was a humble servant to this man that she didn't even know, right? I imagine the only thing that she knew was that he was keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? So just like it's important for a woman to reverence her husband, women of Israel should also be reverencing the men of Israel who are doing this work, right? And it is important that as righteous men that we're moving in a way that solicits righteous behavior from our women, right? Not just our wives, but that we're all dealing with each other in righteousness, right? So you should be willing to help a man just like Rebecca was willing to help Isaac's servant, right? That's just something that I wanted to point out as well. Grab for me James 3:7 when you're ready. Because it's not just your husband that you should be dealing with humility and with righteousness. These are the men of the Lord who are doing the Lord's work, right? So, they should all be treated with righteousness. That's what a virtuous woman would do. Read.
This is the book of James, chapter 3 and verse 7. For every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents, of things in the sea, is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind.
17?
3 and 17?
Yeah, Slovakia.
Okay.
This is my bad.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruits of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
So the wisdom from above, right, is pure and then peaceable and gentle and easy to be entreated. It's full of mercy, good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy, right? This is how we should be moving with each other, right? Not just in our marriages, right, but in our communities, in our congregations, right, with our families that are doing this work, with our families that are keeping these laws, right? We should all be moving this way with one another. Grab for me Ecclesiasticus 13:25.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13 and 25. The heart of a man changeth his countenance, whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity, in the finding out of parables and wearisome labor of the mind.
So it's the heart of a man, right? Whether it be good or evil, can be changed based on what he's receiving, right? So you want to make sure that it goes for women as well. You're putting in good into that relationship, right? Because you want what you want to come out, what you want to be is a cheerful countenance, right? Let's go to Galatians 5 and 16, and I'm going to kind of speed this up.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 5, and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
So walk in the Spirit, right? There's going to be some lustful temptations when you're courting someone of the opposite sex, right? When you're proving someone of the opposite sex, it's important that you resist that lust, you resist those fleshful temptations, and walk in the Spirit, right? And do your diligence of proving this person before you settle down and get physical with this person, right? Before you enter into a marriage with this person. Do your diligence. Don't fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? Read. I got it. It says, you got it? 17.
17. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
Because that lustful spirit is powerful, right? And you have to be diligent. You have to work hard to overcome that thing, right? Grab for me 1 John 2 and 16. So, men, if you are lusting for a woman, and you're not thinking about her spirit, whether or not she's exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit, whether or not you are compatible with her, with whether or not you are able to provide for her the things that she needs as a wife, you're not ready for marriage. If you can't get past your lust, then you are not ready for marriage. Go ahead.
1 John 2 and 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of the life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, right? Wanting to engage in sex, loving what you see in physically in the person that you're proving. These are things that are not of the Father, but of the world, right? And as holy people who are doing these laws, statutes, and commandments, we are supposed to turn away from the world and turn to this word, right? And that's how we are supposed to be living. We are supposed to be separate or put apart. Grab for me Galatians 6 and 8. This is
the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 8. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
If you are yielding to those fleshly desires, you're going to reap corruption, right? You're going to be punished. Go ahead.
But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
If you do your due diligence, right? If you do your proving, then, and if you're moving in the Spirit and not in the flesh, you're going to reap an everlasting life, right? You're not going to fall in a situation where that your life mate is a headache and a burden and tiresome, right? Where she is not zapping your strength from you, when he is not breaking you down and destroying you emotionally, right? That's why it's important to make sure that you're moving in the Spirit and make sure that that the person that you're proving is exhibiting those fruits of the Spirit. Let's go to Tobit 8 and 7. We'll read 7 and 8.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly, therefore mercifully ordain that we may become aged together. And she said with him, Amen.
So he's saying, I take not this my sister for lust, but for uprightly, right? Because when you deal with your mate in an uprightly manner, that's how you will age well together. That's how you will stand the test of time. That's how you will have a fruitful and long marriage, right? When your wife is joyful with you, she's going to extend your life. We saw that earlier, right? So you want to, as a man, with the woman that you're courting, you want to treat her with the same kind of reverence, the same kind of respect that you would want a man to treat your sister, right? You don't want any man to be taking advantage of your sister. You don't want, if you have a sister, if you don't, you can imagine, right? You can imagine that you don't want a man who is going to treat your sister poorly, who is going to be disrespectful, who is not going to be a provider for her, who is not going to make her a better person, a better wife, who is not going to provide for her the things that she needs, right? So in that same spirit, that's the way that you want to treat the woman that you're proving, right? You want to treat her with the same type of way that you would want a man to treat your sister. That's what is being communicated here. Grab for me Romans 12 and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 1. Beseech ye therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
We are to present our bodies as a living sacrifice, right? It is only through the grace of the Most High that we woke up today, right? And so every day that we wake up, we should be giving Him thanks. And our number one priority should be making sure that we are doing what the Most High has asked us to do, right? We should be a living sacrifice to Him first and foremost. That means our wants, our desires are secondary to what it is that the Most High has commanded us to do, right? So we need to make sure that that's the way that we are approaching our lives, right? We need to make sure that that we are being that righteous representation of the children of the Most High. We aren't to be, it says, and be not conformed to this world, right? But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So every day you should be renewing your mind. You should be studying this word and doing what is commanded of you, cleansing yourself of the fleshly desires, right? And working on your spirit, making sure that you are doing what it is that you need to be do to, at the end of the day, get this kingdom, right? Because that's the ultimate goal. So we need to make sure that we're proving what is good, what is acceptable, and what is perfect, and we need to be doing the will of the Most High. Ephesians 5 and 1, when you're ready.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 1. Be ye therefore followers of the Most High as dear children, and walk in love, as Yahushua also has loved us, and hath given himself to us, an offering and sacrifice to the Most High for a sweet-smelling Savior.
The Yahushua gave his life so that we had the possibility for everlasting life, right? At the very least that we can do is do our part, right? And present our bodies as that living sacrifice, right? That is the very least that we can do for what Christ did for us. So that means that we need to make sure that we are not of becoming of these things. Read.
But fornication and all uncleanliness and covetousness let's not be once named among you as become saints, neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
So don't be filthiness, don't be talking foolishness out of your mouth. Don't be covetousness. Don't be coveting of what it is that other people have, right? But be thankful for what it is that you have, right? Make sure that you're clean. Definitely don't be fornicating, right? Keep reading.
For this you know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater, hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Yahushua and of the Most High.
These things we know that as a whoremonger, as an unclean person, as a covetous man or woman, as an idolater, you're not going to get the kingdom at all, right? So not only do you not want to be those things, you don't even want anyone to be able to accuse you of these things, right? Let's skip down to grab for me Luke 6:46. So in order to get the kingdom, right, the kingdom should be our number one goal, right? And in order to get that kingdom, we need to make sure that our life mate is someone who also has that goal as their number one goal, right? That's why proving is so important, right? You need to be able to prove this person to have a number one goal of attaining the kingdom by following these laws, statutes, and commandments. And you need to prove to them that is your goal as well, right? Go ahead and go with that in Luke.
This is Luke 6:46. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say?
Why would you, and we see Christians do this all the time, right? Say that they're followers of Jesus Christ, that they love God, that they love Christ, and yet they're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, right? How are you going to call on the Most High, call on Yahushua, and you're not doing what has been commanded you to do by the Most High, right? Read.
Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like.
So this is what it is that a doer of the word is doing, right? Go ahead.
He is like a man which built an house and digged deep and laid the foundations on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock.
When you are proving, this is the goal, right? To build up a solid foundation for your relationship, right? And it starts in the proving phase, right? You need to make sure that you're being diligent in your proving so that you can establish and build up a strong foundation that your marriage can rest on, right? Just like the man who dug deep into the ground and laid his foundation on rock, right? So that when the flood arose and the stream beat vehemently upon that house, it didn't move. It was the foundation was so solid that it couldn't be shaken, it couldn't be moved, right? And that's what you want your marriage to be. You want it to be on a solid foundation from the start, so that you're building on that foundation rather than repairing a broken relationship, right? Go ahead.
But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did not beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the rain of that house was great. The ruin of that house was great.
That's right. If you are hasty in your proving process, if you're hasty in your courting process, if you don't take the time to be diligent with the person that you are desiring to enter into a marriage with, you run the risk of building a house that isn't foundated, that isn't secure in its foundation, that can be wiped away, that can be ruined, right? You don't want to put yourself in that situation, because you're not only putting yourself at jeopardy for not getting this kingdom, but you're also putting your spouse at jeopardy, your potential spouse at jeopardy for not getting this kingdom, right? So you want to be diligent. You want to make sure that you are not succumbing to your lust, succumbing to the fleshly temptations, but you're taking the time to be diligent, and you're taking time to really get to know this person and know that this is a person that you can see yourself spending the rest of your life with.
Yeah, it makes me think about basically like being rooted, just the same way in His Word and His truth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
It's definitely the same thing, right? To be rooted in this truth, you have to put in the work. You got to do your studying. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk, right? You have to be diligent in anything that you want to produce a good outcome in. You have to be diligent in the work, right? If you're not diligent, you're not going to get a good outcome. Grab you're at Sirach 32 and 14.
The book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. Oh, I'm at 33. Slacky. 32 and 14.
Yeah.
Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor.
So if you're fearing the Lord, you're being diligent, and you're doing these laws, statutes, and commandment, you're going to find favor with the Most High. Read.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith.
If you are being diligent in studying this Bible, this book, and learning the laws and implementing them into your life, if you're being diligent in this walk, you're going to be filled with the laws, right? You're going to be filled with the good things that are proclaimed to come unto you from doing the things that the Most High has asked you to do, right? He's going to be generous with you. Go ahead.
But the hypocrite will be offended thereat. They that fear the Lord shall find judgment, and shall kindle justice as a light.
You got it.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
A sinful man, right? A man who wants to succumb to his flesh, who wants to do what he wants to do, man or woman, right? they're not going to take correction. They're not going to want to hear that they've offended, that they've done wrong, that they are incorrect, that they need to repent and turn away from sinning, right? They're going to find an excuse. You know, they're going to say, well, you know, that's just how you see things, or, you know, that's not what I meant to do, or, you know, anything other than taking correction and changing how they go about things and repenting because they don't want to, right? Go ahead. We're at 18.
A man of counsel will be considerate, but a strange and proud man is not daunted with fear, even when of himself he hath done without counsel.
So a wise man is going to inquire counsel, right? He's going to ask, you know, people that he trusts, people that he relies on, people that he sees as wise, right? Someone who you are courting, man or woman, should have people that they turn to, that they rely on for wise counsel, right? They should have someone that they can go to bounce ideas off of, right? So they aren't just moving with their own knowledge, but are seeking knowledge and wisdom from other people, right? Because this is a wise thing to do. But a strange and proud man or woman will say, nah, you know, I got this all figured out. I know what I'm doing. I don't need any help. I don't need anyone to tell me what to do, or I don't need any advice. I got this.
Are they gonna take counsel for somebody that's gonna, like with this other scripture, be continuous with a godly man?
Right.
Because if you're around somebody that's gonna, oh man, don't worry about it, you good, man.
Right.
You know.
Who's going to let you succumb to sin, right? And who is not going to, you know, make sure that you are on a path of righteousness. They're just going to let you fall away. You don't want that. Go ahead and read.
Do nothing without advice, and when thou hast once done, repent not. Do not in a way wherein thou mayest fall and stumble not among the stones. Be not confident in a plain way, and beware of thine own children. In every good work trust thine own soul, for this is the keeping of the commandments. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandments, and he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worse.
The goal of proving, right? The goal is to build a solid foundation, right? And the way that you go about building a solid foundation is by being diligent, by trusting in the Most High, by keeping the commandments, by believing in the Most High, and believing that what this book says is the truth. That's how you're going to build a solid foundation for your marriage. That's how you're going to have a successful relationship. And that's how you're going to be able to do the work that is necessary in order to build up this righteous nation, right? And that's the end game for us. The end game is to get out of this captivity, and to get back into the kingdom, and to get back to being the leaders of this world, right? So that should be the goal. So I hope that this lesson was a little edifying. I hope that you got a better understanding of what you should be doing when you're proving a potential mate. I hope you have a better understanding of what it is that you should be looking for, what it is that you should be, and what it is that you should not be, and what it is you should not be looking for, right? Take the time, be diligent. Don't succumb to your flesh. Don't succumb to your lust, but stay in the Spirit and make sure that the person that you're proving is someone who has those same desires, right? Who has the desire, the strength, the willingness to keep the faith, stay in the spirit, and put in the work and the diligence to really prove that they are worthy of building a righteous household and a righteous kingdom with you, right? You want to prove that they are going to be a benefit and not a hindrance. That's all that I have for tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. Definitely tune in to, we've got classes almost every night. Definitely tune in, like and share the classes, and let's continue to do this work, Israel. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. You can email us at reply@truenation.com. Or .org. You can also check out our website. It's truenation.org, and you can reach out to us there as well. Like and share the classes. Continue to tune in, and have a wonderful evening. I don't have anything else if you don't. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Ain't no ghetto without us. Revelation 2:9. Tell them.
Yeah, all my brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich up. We headed back up to the tip top. Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up, yeah.
My folks stayed in the Hoovers, I was born in the trades. I was raised in the hundreds, but I ain't never joined the gang. Affiliated, I was with it, I ain't played no games. Wasn't banging, but I had to show I ain't no lame. Copperworth Entertainment, yeah, I did my thing. Until I woke up to this truth and found out we still slaves. Niggas killing over colors, time to rise up for our brothers. Time to unify our hustles, time to lead our baby mothers out to lay like Nazareth. I was raised up out the gutter, for the homies I got locked up, not a word I never uttered. So for Yasharahla, yeah, you best believe I'll die. This ain't Christianity, you best believe
yeah,
I'll
all my
ride.
brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich up. We headed back up to the tip top.
We rich.
Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up, yeah.
Yeah, reclining my seats, I'm looking at the stars. Not too long ago was blowing kush about the car. Always wanted fame until I found the 12 stars. But now a nigga rich, the wisdom got me hella far. Looking back on my life, this shit is so surreal. Like I came up on the lotto, how a nigga feel. Keep the law as the motto, now tell me what's the deal. Riding smooth, diamond chain, compliment the wheels. Yeah, that's how we pull up fly. If my brothers got an issue, then I bet I ride. Even if I take a loss, you can bet I try. Cause I'ma get a couple off, and that's before
yeah,
I
all
die,
my brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich up. We headed back up to the tip top. Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up, yeah.
It's so cold in these streets, I take the heat outside. I keep a sword like Cephas, just believe I might. Ain't an army on this earth that can see these tribes. Dressed in warlike apparel, best believe we fly. It's time to get the doctrine right, it's time to feed these sheep. What we sowing to each other, that's what we gon' reap. Shit, you niggas claim you bout that life. Some niggas banging for the set, but I'm an Israelite. He full of pride and full of shit, then I'ma cut him on sight. Hakeem ain't never gotta tell me twice. I'm a soldier for Christ, and Mashiach the king is not to be mocked. I love my nation, but 2/3 of y'all can still get popped. Blah.
Desire one Ariala. Yashamai. Yasharahla.